Hello everyone. Welcome to Law Excellence's initiative Current Affairs for Beginners. Let's start our today's session. Before starting our today's session, let us see what are the answers for the questions from our yesterday's video. The first question is, which of the following statements is or correct regarding the Securities Exchange Board of India? The first statement is, it is a non-statutory body. SEBI was a non-statutory body because when the SEBI was formed in 1988, it was formed as a non-statutory body by a government resolution in order to regulate this securities market. But in 1992, when the Parliament has amended and passed this SEBI Act, it was given statutory powers. So the first statement is wrong, because now SEBI is a statutory body. And the second statement is, it is the regulator for securities market in India. Yes, in 1988 when it was established without statutory powers, it was established to regulate this securities market in India. So SEBI is both a statutory body as well as a regulatory body. So here since the statement 1 is wrong, the answer here is only 2, it is B. And the second question is, consider the following statements about GSLV Mark III D1. GSLV Mark III is a 3-stage heavy lift launch vehicle developed by ISRO. Yes, the first developmental flight of GSLV Mark III, yes, this D1, GSLV Mark III D1 is the first developmental flight of GSLV Mark III. It has successfully placed GSAT-19 satellite to a geosynchronous transfer orbit. Yes, this first developmental flight has placed this payload, that is GSAT-19 satellite. That is why this mission is also called as GSAT-19 mission, into a geosynchronous transfer orbit. This statement is also correct. As both the statements were correct, the answer here is C. From this, we need to know some other specifications also. Those are the technical specifications, like this GSLV Mark III was designed to carry a 4-ton class of satellites into this geosynchronous transfer orbit, or 8 tons to a lower Earth orbit, which is twice the capability of GSLV Mark II. Now let's start our today's session. Our first article is no creamy layer norm for SCs and STs. What is meant by this creamy layer? This term of creamy layer used in the Indian politics, it generally refers to relatively forwarded people and people who are having better education. I said relatively forward in the sense, comparing to the other members in their group, they were relatively forward. They were a bit better than them, better, well educated, and better, leading a better life. This is generally used for OBCs, other backward classes, and these people are not eligible for any government sponsored education and professional benefit programs. This term was introduced by Satyanathan Committee in 1971, and this committee has directed that the creamy layer should be excluded from the reservations in the civil posts. That is, they should not have any quotas in the civil posts. And as I have said that this concept is only for OBCs. So now in this article, the issue is, the government is saying that this creamy layer norm shouldn't be applicable for SCs and STs. Now we'll see the background of this. Why this issue has risen? Because a petition was filed in the Supreme Court saying that this creamy layer concept should be introduced for SCs and STs also. So the Supreme Court is hearing the petition to exclude the creamy layer of this SCs and STs from the benefits of reservation. In 1992, in this Indira Sahni case, or the Mandal case, the Supreme Court has said that this caste-based reservation for OBCs is valid. And the court has also said that the creamy layer among these OBCs should be excluded from those benefits of reservation. So this thing is exclusively for this OBCs and it is not for SCs or STs. So these SCs or STs were called as reserved classes because these reserved classes and castes of India, they were having a very long history of discrimination. This is why the constitution as well as the government has given so many benefits for the upliftment of these people. They have allowed them for the uniform distribution of wealth and development to all these members. So by accessing those benefits in the form of reservations or in the education, in the employment, some of the members, certain members of these castes were able to gain access to wealth and progress. But the problem here is the persons who got benefited were continuing to get access to those benefits. And the main problem here is only the rich among the SCs and STs were taking away these benefits while leaving the really deserved people and the impoverished people. These people were not getting the benefits. That means it is not getting percolated to the needy, all the benefits. Only the rich among these reserved classes were enjoying those benefits. Even the studies such as of Lokur committee has said that the benefits were not getting percolated down to the genuine beneficiaries. If we see the arguments that were in favor of this creamy layer norm, they were saying that it is perpetuating the problem of rich-poor divide. And even the Supreme Court in Nagraj versus Union of India, it has ruled that the people belonging to SC/ST should be classified into groups and the creamy layer should be excluded from reservation. And it has mandated that the government should not introduce any quota in the promotion for SC or ST persons in the public employment. In case if they were to give to a particular person, it should follow some conditions. The particular Dalit community should be backward and it should be inadequately represented. And this reservation in promotion should not affect the efficiency in public administration. The government should provide a quantifiable data justifying its decision to promote this SC or ST officers in the public employment. And the arguments that were against the creamy layer concept were like the government itself saying that this judgment of Nagraj versus Union of India is acting as a roadblock to introduce quota in the promotions in the favor of SCs and STs as per this Article 16 Clause 4 of the Constitution. And by categorizing this SC and ST into creamy and non-creamy layers, it will take away the hard-fought rights of these groups. And the provisions for reservation of SCs and STs are not for their economical benefits. The reservations that were provided is not for economical benefits but for their social upliftment. These are the arguments that were put by the people who were against the creamy layer concept among this SC and ST. So if we see the main challenges here were like there is lack of percolation of benefits to the poor and really backward among these communities. It is finally leading to social unrest and Naxalite movements, and it is leading to poverty. And the privileged among the community, they are not making their way, they are not shunning these benefits even after their attaining self-sufficiency. So these are the arguments that were put forward in front of the Supreme Court as it is hearing the petition to exclude this creamy layer of SCs and STs from the benefits of reservation. Our next article is Centre to Scale Up Relief Measures in Kerala. From this article, let us see what is this National Crisis Management Committee is. National Crisis Management Committee. At the national level, there are various committees that were working for this disaster management. Among them, the first one is Cabinet Committee. This committee was set up to implement the relief measures when there is a natural disaster. This committee was headed by Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture. He will act as a secretary to this Cabinet Committee. When this Cabinet Committee was absent, then all the matters that were related to this relief will be reported to the Cabinet Secretary. Under the chairmanship of this Cabinet Secretary, this National Crisis Management Committee was set up at the Cabinet Secretariat. The other members, along with this chairman, that is the Cabinet Secretary, who was the chairman of this National Crisis Management Committee, it also includes other members who are like Secretary to the Prime Minister and Secretaries of Ministry of Home Affairs, Defense, Research and Analysis Wing, and Agriculture and Cooperation. And it also includes a director from Intelligence Bureau and an officer of Cabinet Secretariat. This National Crisis Management Committee will give directions regarding the relief measures to the Crisis Management Group, which will review all the necessary measures that were needed to deal with a natural disaster. And this crisis management group will coordinate all the activities of the central ministers and the state governments that were related to the disaster preparedness and relief, and it will obtain the information from the nodal officers. This crisis management group works under the chairmanship of a Central Relief Commissioner, and it also comprises of various senior officers that were drawn from various ministries and other concerned departments. This crisis management group will meet once in every 6 months. Our next article is NPCI unveils more secure UPI with overdraft facility. This comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of governance, and from the prelims point of view from this article, it is important to know what is this UPI 2.0, and from the mains level from this article we can take up what are the measures that were available for facilitating cashless transactions. First, let us see what is this National Payments Corporation of India. This is an umbrella organization for all retail payments in India that will allow all the Indian citizens to have unrestricted access to e-payment services. This NPCI is a non-profit organization that was registered under the Section 8 of Companies Act 2013. This organization is actually owned by a group of major banks like SBI, PNB, ICICI, etc. And it is promoted by the central bank, that is the Reserve Bank of India. The various services and products of this NPCI are like Unified Payment Interface, National Financial Switch, IMPS, Immediate Payment Service, RuPay cards, and Aadhaar enabled payment systems, Beam app, Nationally Automated Clearing House, Bharat Bill Payment System, and Aadhaar Payment Bridge System, etc. Here, this RuPay is a domestic card scheme. This card has reduced the dependency on international card schemes like Visa, MasterCards. Now, this RuPay card is accepted at all the ATMs and point of sale terminals and most of the online merchants in the country. Whereas this unified payment interface is a payment system that will allow the multiple bank accounts that were belonging to a bank, for example SBI. All these multiple bank accounts of SBI will be controlled using a single mobile app, so that there will be a easy and free money transfer between any two parties. And this UPI is similar to that of this existing, we know, NEFT, RTGS, IMPS. It is similar to that of all these three, but it is far more sophisticated and standardized. This UPI will allow a user to transfer money or to pay directly from a bank account to different persons without entering all the card details, net banking, or any IFSC code or any valid password. Without all these details, they can transfer from one bank account to the merchant's account. The first version of this UPI was launched in 2016, and now this NPCI has upgraded this UPI to UPI 2.0 by adding 4 new features to it. The 4 features in this updated or upgraded to UPI is, the first one is overdraft facility. Till now, only current accounts and savings account were being linked with the UPI. Now even the overdraft account can be linked with the UPI, so that it will help the customers to have an instant transaction using an additional digital channel with the access to this overdraft account. And the other one is one-time mandate. Using this one-time mandate, we can make scheduled payments. For example, if today is 17th and if you want to make a payment to someone on 20. So if you pre-authorize the future transaction, then the amount from the account will be deducted on 20. This can be used when the money has to be transferred in the later. And the other one is invoice in the inbox. Here the users can get the invoices from the merchants in their inbox, so that they can verify and view the credentials of the merchant even before making payment, and this will ensure authenticity. And the other one is signed intent and quick response code. This feature will help the user to check the credentials of the merchant using this QR code, that is the quick response code, so that it will enable the user to check whether the merchant is UPI verified or not. Our next article is Steel Imports from Japan, South Korea Surge. Here we can see New Delhi may look at imposing safeguards. We have seen about this safeguard duty so many times in our previous videos. Now again we'll see it in brief. Safeguard duty. What is it? Whenever a country thinks that the imports from other countries of any product, if they are being imported in large quantities, or if they are being imported at a cheaper rates, then if these were affecting the domestic market of this country, for example, if we are importing steel from Japan, and here the article itself is saying that we are importing this steel in larger quantities to India, and it is affecting the domestic industry, then India can impose this safeguard duty on Japan and South Korea. This is a temporary measure in order to safeguard the domestic market. Now let us see our today's questions. The first one is, consider the following statements. NPCI helps in promoting the financial inclusion in the country, and the NPCI has launched RuPay, a card payment scheme. The next question is, which one of the following links all the ATMs in India? Indian Banks Association, National Securities Depository Limited, National Payment Corporation of India, Reserve Bank of India. I have given both the questions based on this National Payment Corporation of India only, and these two questions were the questions from our previous years. This one is from 2018 and the first question is from 2017 prelims. Try to answer these questions and post those answers in the comment box, and we'll see the detailed explanation for these questions in our tomorrow's video. And you can access our notes from our LawXron's website, and notes and the video will be available in our official Telegram channel. Thank you.